Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. We just finished up our second 6-week session for this homeschool year. So today I'm going to share a little homeschool update with you and let you know how things are going. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified of all of my future videos. And if you're looking for more help and encouragement around homeschooling and home and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. I will leave a link for that in the description box below. So let's get started. Okay guys, my eyes are not feeling 100% today when I'm recording this. So if I start squinting or my eyes start getting red, that is why I had to turn my light down because it was really bothering them. I don't know if I have a migraine coming or whatnot, but I do want to share all about how our homeschool has been going. I'm actually really happy with how things have been going. Now, we have definitely had some challenges during the 6-week session, which I will get to, but first I want to start with what is going well. I have my Erin Condren teacher planner here where I jotted down just a few things that I wanted to touch on with you guys today during this second 6-week update. So if you watched my last update or if you've been watching any of my videos this year, you'll know that we started our school year back in July, and we start with a slow start, kind of a rolling slow start to get into all of the new subjects. And then we decided to do a 6-week on, 1 week off schedule this year. And the purpose of that 7th week, that homeschool week off, was to give the kids a break from the normal homeschool stuff and to give me some time to work on home management projects and other projects that I really do have to put to the side when we are homeschooling. When we are in session with homeschooling, I am really all in with homeschooling. I treat it as my job. It takes an enormous amount of time to do literature-based learning, to do homeschooling. I think we are not a family that completes school in an hour in the morning. When my kids were younger, that definitely was more accurate. And even with my youngest, Lucy, it really only takes us maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through all of her school for the day. But my older 2 kids are both in high school level courses, and so it takes a lot more time. And there's a lot of discussion with my older kids. So having that 7th week to focus on some cleaning, some deep cleaning, and some home management stuff has really been helpful for me. Now, the first week that we had off was not at all relaxing, rejuvenating at all. And if you saw any of my vlogs or anything from that week, you will know that. And it led into the start of our second 6-week session. I was not ready for our second 6-week session the way I wanted to be. And I had a really big outside project that I was not expecting to have to work on at the beginning of our second 6-week session. I was building a website for a nonprofit that I am on the board of directors for, and it took an enormous amount of time, and it really slowed us down the start of the second 6-week session. So while things are going really well, there were definitely some challenges. So first, the good things. Maybe I should have started with the challenges. So what is going well? Our curriculum is great. I'm really happy with all of the choices that we've made. I had mentioned this, I think, in my first 6-week update that I was very concerned about Emma and chemistry and algebra 2, and just she has a very heavy load of school this year. It's all junior level courses. If you remember junior year in high school, it's pretty, there's a lot of classes. It's a lot of work, but she's doing really great. I'm happy with everything that we are doing. I think Jack and Lucy are also doing really well. I'm pleased with the progress that we have made. And so I'm really happy with our choices this year. Sometimes I am not happy with some of the choices in my curriculum, but this year I'm really happy with all of them. So that is the first excellent thing, one thing that's going really, really well this year. The next thing that's going really well is my homeschool planning. This is something that I am very diligent about, and if you've watched any of my videos, you will know that I spend a lot of time planning for homeschool, making adjustments, making sure that we are doing all of the things that we need to, using my homeschool planner, my Erin Condren teacher planner works wonderfully. My Sunday planning is going well. I have done several weeks of reverse record keeping this year, which is not something that I typically do. I will write down extra things that I don't plan out that my kids are doing throughout the weeks, especially relating to their passion projects. But there have been several weeks where we have just been so incredibly busy, both on the weekend and during the week, that it makes more sense for me to do reverse record keeping. So I'm not trying to play catch up with myself. I'm the only one that holds myself to certain standards for how much we're doing each day, and I am pretty strict with that. But I know that on the weeks that we are really, really busy, if I plan out a typical week, even with that in mind, especially when we have a lot of appointments and outside obligations, it just makes it a little more challenging. So doing the reverse record keeping was definitely helpful for some of the weeks this past 6-week session. Writing in my kids' planners is something that I started doing. I've always given them a list to work off of, and they were then copying some of the more important information into their planners. I'm talking about my older two here, but I realized that it just makes more sense for me to write the information in their planners and then for them to add notes to what other things they need to work on or other information that they just want to keep track of. So when I'm doing that, it's much better than when I am not doing that. So I want to keep doing that as we continue to move through the year. The third thing that's working really well for my homeschool planning is my daily habit trackers. I've talked about these several times in my monthly reset videos and just in vlogs and such. So the way that I'm using this right now is I am writing out my kids' AM routine, their daily subjects, their core subjects, their extra things like chores and their passion projects and fun reading and all of the other things that I just like to keep track of. And I have been blocking off the days that we are not doing particular subjects. We are having kind of theme days this year, screen-free day and passion project focused day. And on those 2 days, we aren't doing some of the normal homeschool curriculum that we do on the other days. So Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are really my heavy homeschool teaching days. And then Wednesday and Friday are a little bit lighter on mom school and a little bit heavier on some other things. And then for like screen-free day, we don't do World Watch, our current events, but we do some of the other analog type things. When I am taking the time on my monthly reset day and crossing off the days that I know we're not going to be doing the subjects, then when I'm sitting down to do my weekly planning, it's a lot easier for me to just go through and write down what I need to do. It may seem like extra work, and it is a little bit extra work, but it doesn't take me very long to write out these and cross the days off that I know we're not going to be doing subjects. And then it gives my kids a place where they can just check things off very easily. This in coordination with their planners, with the actual work that they have to do is very helpful. It keeps everybody on track. So I'm pleased. I started doing this in August with this daily habit tracker, and I am so happy that I started doing that. What I used to use these for when my kids were younger is I would list everything that I wanted to cover in a month. That was any sort of educational activities, it was walks outside, it was science experiments, it was chores, it was character qualities. Pretty much anything that I wanted to cover with my kids in a month, I would list down the side. And then every day that we did something with that particular topic or task or subject, I would check it off. And this gave me a good representation of what we were actually doing in a month, even though I was still keeping plans and stuff. This was when my kids were really little, elementary age and younger. And so when I was trying to figure out, am I doing enough? Was I doing anything during the month? I could look back at this and see, oh, well, look at all of the things that I have done. And I would also be able to see where I needed to make some adjustments and maybe spend a little bit more time on specific tasks. That's how I used to use this, but now I've been using it more as a checklist to make sure that we are on track with our subjects each day, and it has been really helpful for me with my homeschool planning. The other thing that's going really well are our theme days. Like I said, we have a passion project focus day and a screen-free day. The screen-free day still needs a little bit of work, and I think that as we close down Emma's cross-country season, it'll be a little bit easier to manage that because right now we're still trying to get all of her work done early in the day so that she has a little bit of downtime before she goes to cross country. And then in the evening, after cross country, she comes home and we are starting to get ready for dinner and stuff. So, yes, there is more time that she can spend working on her school, but we try to really get everything done before like 1 o'clock so that she is able to move into other stuff. But what happens is sometimes she's not able to watch like her Spanish videos on Thursday because she has cross country, her Spanish videos for Friday. So she has still been doing her school that is online on the computer on Fridays during our screen-free day, even though the whole purpose of screen-free day is really to completely unplug for everybody, including me. And so it's something that I think once cross country is over, it'll be better, but it has been going quite well. We spend a lot of time reading. We've spent time at the coffee shop. We've done, library trips and just having more downtime, more discussion time, more read aloud time with mom. And I'm really excited to continue that through the rest of the year. Another thing that's going really well is Emma joined a book club and they are going through short stories. So it's not that they have to be there every single week. We are there most weeks, but she is able to read the short story, have discussion. It's a very large group of teens. And so that has been really good for her, giving her an opportunity to share some of her opinions. She's a very opinionated person. And so it's interesting for her to come back to me and talk about the different points that other people have made, and how her worldview is quite different from the majority of the group and how that stands out within the club, the book club. So I think that it's been really good for her and she's definitely enjoying it. So we're going to continue doing that as well. So then the last two things that are going well are me considering our time. And this is something that I've talked about in my goals as well, especially as we've moved into the fourth quarter. I have been wanting to consider my time and make sure that I'm giving time to the things that I love to do and that I'm not constantly working. It can be home management, it can be my business, it can be managing my kids' schedules, it can be projects, outside projects that I'm involved in, committees that I'm on, all of that kind of stuff, and making sure that I'm taking time for fun as well and not just constantly working. I really like to stay busy and I enjoy the work that I do, but sometimes I get into this habit of just constantly going and not stepping back to take a breath. And so that is something that I've tried to do with my homeschool as well, just taking a step back and letting us kind of have more of a flow. Like I said before, I'm pretty strict with our scheduling and making sure that we're getting to the next thing because I want to make sure that we're getting all of the things done, which kind of leads to the last thing that's going well in our homeschool. I'm not trying to constantly play catch up. And I mentioned this already, that I'm the only one that sets parameters on what we need to accomplish. I mean, obviously, I say that with, I'm still following all of the homeschool laws and stuff, but I am very strict as far as what the kids need to get done each day. And I know that not all homeschool parents run their homeschools that way, but I do. And so when we have a really busy week, and in the past, I will have planned out stuff, even accounting for the time that we're going to be out of the house, and we're not able to get back into what we need to get done for a particular day, that is challenging for me. So I've done a really good job this past 6 weeks of adjusting my expectations and not trying to play catch up, and really understanding that when we have a busy week, we're not going to be able to get as much done, and just really understanding that and not beating myself up about it. Not that we're not getting our work done, we are still getting quite a bit done, but just giving myself a little bit more grace on the weeks that we are busy. And there have been some extremely busy weeks, especially at the beginning of the 6 week session, of the second 6 week session. So that's going to lead me into the challenges. So the first challenge was that my kids were sick when we started back up this second 6 week session. We took our week off. My husband and daughter, my oldest daughter, had been sick before the vacation week, and then Jack and Lucy had gotten sick towards the end of the vacation week, homeschool break week, and were sick pretty much throughout the whole first week of our new session. So that was really challenging to work through because I was not ready for starting the homeschool week. I mean, I had done all of the preliminary work for the first semester, which is why I do this in the summer, making sure that I'm familiar with all of the resources and taking the time before we start in July to really understand where we're going and where I want to be before we take our big homeschool break in, around the holidays. So I'm glad that I did that, but it was really challenging to start our second 6 week session and have Jack and Lucy being sick. And then the next 2 weeks, really the first 3 weeks of our second 6 week session, I was working on this really large project, this website for the nonprofit board of directors that I'm on. So I completed the website, which was good, but it took so many hours of time, and it was not a project that I should have taken on. Unfortunately, I had committed to it and I just had to get it done. But in retrospect, I should not have done that because it really interrupted our homeschool flow. And I knew that we were going to be busy anyways with Emma's cross country season and just fall in general. So I am kind of disappointed with myself that I did take that on. But at the same time, it was something that I committed to and I just had to get it done. But it really did mess up the first half of this 6 week session. My kids were really great. I am very thankful that the habits that I've instilled in them over the many years were able to kind of help them through their work. They were able to continue moving through their work pretty independently, even though I was so busy, and they were getting everything done that they needed to. But I wasn't enjoying the homeschool, and it's similar to last year. If you watched my video last year, when all of the big changes that we made in last school year, January of 2023, when Emma stopped doing public school band and some other activities, and we really concentrated on being at home and focusing on home and homeschool and just relationships with each other and stuff. It was it was like that all over again. I was like, why am I doing this? These are the things that I put on my yes and no list at the beginning of the year. I knew that I didn't want to have these big projects come up or have us be super busy. And instead of my kids being super busy, it was myself committing to something. So live and learn. That project is over, and I'm pleased with the progress that I made and that it is done well, and I'm happy that it's over. But it was a really challenging part of this 6 week session. The other thing that was kind of challenging this 6 week session was getting everybody going in the morning. And I think part of that was because I was doing a lot of work. I'm a very early riser, and so when I have projects, I am up at 4 a.m. and I am working until 8 or 9. And if I am just constantly in that single focused work of this project that I was working on, I was not stopping to make sure that the kids were getting ready. They would get on screens first thing in the morning. Emma would go out for a run, even though she has cross country in the afternoon, or everybody would just kind of be meandering. And that really would throw us off for the rest of the day because we weren't starting school until 10 or 10:30. they were still getting stuff done, but it's just not the way that I like to run our homeschool. I like to do the majority of the work that I'm focused on with the kids in the morning, and the way that it was working was because I was working on something separate, not at all homeschool related. Instead of protecting my homeschool block like I typically do, I was just kind of letting things run together. And so that was a little bit of a challenge. Now, these challenges are things that I know how to fix, and they aren't challenges in the way that, my kids are really struggling with curriculum, or my child is having a really tough time with a particular math concept or something like that. Those aren't the challenges that I've really faced this past 6-week session. It's been more about my own outside commitments and making sure that I am protecting the time that I need with my kids for homeschooling specifically. That can be really challenging, and it can be challenging with projects. It can be challenging with outside obligations for extracurriculars or committees or friends or whatnot. But just recognizing that and knowing that I need to adjust things has helped. And I have made a lot of adjustments the second half of this past session. Because that project is done, things have been going much more smoothly, and our morning rhythm is much better, and things are just so much better now that that project is done. The other thing that's been a little bit challenging in September is cross country. Last year, cross country was essentially almost always on Fridays or Saturdays, but this year there have been races Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and there has been so much rain in Maine since the summer, really, that we have had a lot of adjustments, and schedules are changing last minute, and practices changing last minute, and races moving to completely different sections of the state constantly. And so it's been really hard to manage that and still do homeschooling. And this is just a problem that you run into if you are utilizing public school activities or even private school activities. You have to run off of that schedule, and so you have a little less freedom. And so it's been a little bit of a crazier September, but we're almost done with the cross country season, and it's been quite good. Emma's done really well this year, and I'm very happy that she's doing so well, but it has been a little crazy when we get a message on Wednesday afternoon that a meet is now on Thursday instead of Saturday or whatnot. It's just been a little bit crazy. The next thing that has been a challenge is Brave Writer. I have been trying to start our August Brave Writer guides. Well, I did do the first week in September. We did the first week of Jack's Hunger Games Boomerang and Emma's Jane Eyre Slingshot, and they went really great. I really love the content, but I haven't had enough time to sit down and flesh out the ideas and discuss things the way that I like to with those Brave Writer guides, because we're just trying to get through so many things and get to cross-country practice and some other, like a lot of appointments in September and other things going on. So I haven't been able to put as much time into Brave Writer. And I think I'm just going to have to wait until after cross country is done and we're just in a different season, which, when I went into the fall, I should have known that. But again, this outside project that I committed to, it was not something that was on my radar until the middle of August. And so that definitely made things a little more challenging, because I had already planned out all of this stuff that we were going to be doing, and then I kind of had to pull things back. The next thing that has been a bit of a struggle is science with Jack, and that's because I'm piecing together our curriculum this year, and because of that, it's very mom focused. So when we are having a lot of appointments or outside of the house or back and forth to other events and things like that, it's not been easy to implement it. And because of that, we haven't done as much science as I would like to. We're really going to have to beef it up as we move into the rest of the fall, the next 6-week session. This past 6 weeks, we were super light on science for Jack, and that is not what I hope to be doing going forward. And then the last challenge that I had was that Lucy is kind of between reading levels right now for her language arts. And I knew that she would be coming into this year. And that has been a little bit of a challenge. And I remember when Emma was this age, it was the exact same thing. And so I have been struggling a little bit choosing books for her or getting her to read books specific to our Sunlight curriculum. And so we do have, I mean, I think I own so many books. We own so many books. So I've been having her choose books off of our readers shelf in the basement. I have books, picture books, all, level 1, 2, 3 readers, which obviously she's done all of those, to beginning chapter books. And I'm just trying to get her to challenge herself a little bit more and making sure that I can find stories that she finds interesting that will keep her interest as she moves along. She's not quite at the level D readers level yet, which is year 1 of 2 of US history. She's just not that interested in those books. She can partner read them, but they're much longer and much more in-depth historical fiction and all of that. It's not like reading one of the Nancy Drew Clue Crew books or Nancy Drew Diaries books. So we're working on that a little bit more, but she's doing great with her reading and I'm really pleased. And I did know coming into this year that we were going to struggle a little bit. I thought I would have a little bit more time with the readers that I had for her, but she read them all in July and the beginning of August. So I'm kind of just trying to figure out where to go next. But she is reading every day. We're just not reading the books from the language arts program at the moment. All right, and now I want to go over kind of looking ahead. We have 6 weeks left until our big homeschool break. Every year we take off from Thanksgiving to New Year's. I've been doing this, I think, since Emma was 6. And that was because I had Lucy in October and we started early that year because I knew that I was going to be on maternity leave from homeschool from October right through to the new year. And we have just continued taking off a big chunk of time in the winter for the holidays, and it's been wonderful. So we have 6 weeks left until we complete our first semester of the year. It's kind of crazy to me. We have never built in breaks into our fall before. I have always started in July and gone straight through to Thanksgiving, and that has worked out great for us in the past. But this year, my kids really wanted to have more breaks, and I knew that I needed more breaks, especially for the home management projects and things that I just need to get done that I don't have time to do when we are actively homeschooling. And so I almost feel like this semester is going way faster than they have in years past. And I don't know if it's because we're only doing school for 6 weeks and then we're having a week off. And that 6-week period seems so brief to me that I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's just a little bit different, but I love it. I'm really pleased. I'm filming this video during our second homeschool break. This homeschool break has been 100 times better. I am really rested. My kids are rested. We've done some fun little things. The kids are working on their passion projects, which was the whole purpose of having this week off for them, so that they could have a week where they just focus on the things that they love to do as well. I've gotten a ton of stuff done around the house and I'm really feeling good about things, but I can't believe we only have 6 weeks until Thanksgiving. Like, until we're off, until we're done with this first semester. And so we still have a couple of days left in our homeschool break. So I'm going to sit down and just make sure that I have the list of books that I want to get through, all of the work that I want to get through, where I want the kids to be in their math. Well, for Emma and Jack, Lucy needs to finish her first Singapore math book before we go on break. What books Emma needs to complete and Jack needs to complete, the papers that they're going to be working on over the next few weeks, that kind of stuff, as well as prepping for NaNoWriMo, which starts November 1st. We will start our NaNoWriMo prep on Monday the 16th. Some people start well in advance, but we just do the couple of weeks before November 1st to kind of brainstorm ideas, character sketches if we do them, plotting, that kind of stuff, just a little bit before we start our big NaNoWriMo project in November. So I need to get all of that stuff done. And then Emma's cross country season is wrapping up, so we're almost done with that, which is really good. That's going to free up a lot of time for us, especially this last 6-week session. So anything that I feel like we haven't had as much time to do over the past 6 weeks, we'll have a lot more time to deep dive on those topics for this last 6-week session before we are on break. I want to finish strong. I want to continue working on our theme days and continuing to think about screen-free days. I've been thinking a lot about goals for 2024. Usually once October hits, I start thinking about the new year and the things that I want to do in the new year. I know that in the fall, I don't have a ton of time to work on new things, so I start jotting down ideas for the next year. And I have been thinking a lot about screens, a lot about my work, because my work is online, and that makes taking time off challenging, or taking screen-free breaks challenging because I still have work that needs to be done. So figuring out how to manage that is a little bit of a challenge. But it is something that I am considering, and I want our family to consider doing more of this stuff. And I think that as we are moving through the year and we free up some other time, I think that that will continue to improve. And then the last thing that I need to think about as we're moving forward into this last 6-week session is to start implementing personal development again. Last year, I started doing personal development with my older 2 kids, and that was really thinking about goals, understanding projects, project management, trying to make progress on specific things. It's part of the reason we're having a passion project focus day. It's part of the reason that I have conferences with my kids regularly, why we have our Monday meeting. So I'm constantly talking to them about what they are interested in doing and how I can help them, help facilitate those interests, as well as give them direction and mentor them on how to make progress. Because it's very easy for somebody to say, I really love X. I really love X, and that's what I want to do. And it's great to think big picture, but it's hard. It's very difficult, I think, for anybody, but especially for kids, to really break that down into manageable steps so that they're able to make progress, see the progress, and do the next best thing for the particular project. And so I've been working a lot with my kids this past year on that. We've taken a bit of a brief break over the past 6-week session. We did a little bit more in the summer, but I want to get back to it. I'm mainly talking about like a career and college book that I'm working through with Emma. She has some definite ideas about what she wants to do in the future. And so helping her work through some of that stuff is really interesting to me, and I want to make sure that I'm giving the time I need to it. So I want to make sure that I'm looking ahead to that. It'll probably be something that will carry over into our homeschool break, our big long homeschool break from Thanksgiving to New Year's, because some of those things are still fun for us to work on that are not like particularly school focused. So that's kind of my update. It's a little crazy, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's something that I really enjoy doing, sharing the challenges as well as the successes, and I think it's good to sit down and do that. I do that every month on my monthly reset day. I will sit down and write out the things that are going well and the challenges that we're facing in our homeschool so that I can make adjustments in the next month. And last year I had been updating you guys monthly, but because we have this 6 weeks on, 1 week off schedule, it made a little bit more sense for me to do 6-week updates instead of 1 month updates. I am really pleased about how things are going, and I am happy with the changes that I've made, especially to my thinking over the past 12 weeks that we've been homeschooling this homeschool year. It's been a really great year so far, and I'm pleased with the progress that we're making. So hopefully that will continue. Again, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.